Hey, good morning or afternoon. A little ragged this morning. No, it's actually about 1 o'clock. We went to bed about 3. We had a gig last night, but I've been pretty excited. I've been wanting to share some stuff with you guys that I think you would probably appreciate. Hopefully you can see this. Within 2 weeks, I got all these signatures on my Telecaster. When we played with Johnny Winter, I went into his trailer. He's super nice about it. He said, "I'd love to sign your guitar." He signed it right there. First person to ever sign my old 64 Tele. And Mike Zito was opening with us. He's got a great new album, Pearl River. He's got a lot of New Orleans musicians on it, like Cyril Neville and Susan Cowsill and Anders Osborne and Johnny Sansone. Check it out. He's got some really good songs on it. We're actually doing some of his songs. You'll find out. He's out on the road right now. This is a legend in himself. Oh, well, that was just the first night a couple of weeks ago. Well, last weekend they had a blues festival, Crescent City Blues Fest and Barbecue Fest, and my son and I actually worked there just so we would be involved. We didn't play, but they had, it was a free concert downtown New Orleans, and it was the best. We just had so much fun. The weather was beautiful. So I took my guitar with me because I knew a lot of people there. I knew some of the guys that were working backstage, some of my fellow musicians, Danny Alexander, who just won the blues competition to go to the International Blues Challenge in Memphis. He's going to be the New Orleans representative. And so I was backstage a little bit with some of the guys that were playing with Luther Kent. And so Guitar Shorty, legend. Hendrix copied him back in the early 60s, late 50s. He signed it right here. And then the next to the last act was Sonny Landreth, one of the best slide players in the world. Signed it right here. Super nice guy. And the king of all kings, my man. And he touched this guitar. There he is right there. Buddy Guy. I was the only one to get his signature that night. He came off stage. I said, "Buddy, I had my guitar laying there. I said, could you sign this?" He walked over, shook my hand, signed it, and went to his bus. I feel very fortunate. But I got to make this quick. There's 10-minute limits that they give us all the time for YouTube. But I did get some new toys. I got a lot of tips that I wanted to give you guys today that I've just recently learned that have been really helpful for me. I wish I'd have known 30 years ago. But somehow I really wasn't familiar with Dan Earlywine, but he built one of the Flying V's for Albert King, so he's got to be one of the best in the world. And he's one of the best guitar repairmen. I think he's up in Ohio. But I originally bought this book, his Guitar Player Repair Guide. If you're a guitar player, you need this book. It's probably one of the best books. It shows you how to do refrets. It shows you everything, things that I never thought about, and I thought I knew a lot about guitars. He has a lot of really good tips on how to make your own feeler gauges out of guitar strings and all kinds of stuff. And this is a great book. It covers acoustics too. And then this one's specifically for electric guitar, and it really is a great book. It gives you Stevie Ray Vaughan's Strat setup. Everything from the nut measurements to the string height, pole piece height, and not just him, but Jeff Beck, and everybody's setups are in here, so these are priceless. And also in these books, I learned about probably one of the best string care products I never knew about. I was using this other stuff from Deoxit, but this is just a cloth, and he says it's the best thing he's ever seen. It's called Blitz String Care. You can look it up on the internet. And it's just a cloth. It's non-toxic. It has some kind of oil on it. you wipe your strings down. It's like you got a new pair of strings every night after if you play for 3 or 4 hours. You know how they can get. That's some great stuff there. Also, I just bought a new toy. I'm going to take the camera off here real quick. New toy, the Analog Man modded MXR Script Phase 90. I found out that Albert King used these. I'd always wondered, I said, where's he getting that phase sound? Is that his guitar, his amp, whatever? I mean, it was pretty obvious he had a phase shifter, but I didn't think about it. Either way, I found out this is the one he's using. So Analog Man takes the 74 hand-wired reissue, and they put a power adapter in it, which is real handy so you don't wear out batteries, and they do a true bypass on it, and they put an LED in it so you know when it's on and off. That's real handy. I used it last night. It was great. I'll show you how that sounds. There's my old tube screamer, and there's the Framtone again. Love these things. There's my old 64 Strat, and that's a 62 Morphodite. But well, either way, it's got a couple extra 66 parts on it. This is another thing that I got from Analog Man. Lava cable. It's a great little kit for making these cables right here. They're solderless. You just screw them together and make them to whatever length you want, whatever shape you want. Really good cable. I mean, this stuff is not cheap. This little package right here with, you can make 5 cables. It's 10-foot long cable. You have enough plugs for 5 cables. This was $90, so this is not cheap. And also this little baby with all the mods was $185 or something, which isn't cheap either, but I'll show you how it sounds. Last night I decided to take my old 66 Super Reverb. Last night was one of those gigs that you live for. You know, the first set I'm going, oh shit, are we going to make it through this night? And then after that, I don't know what happened. All you musicians know what I'm talking about. Everything just came together. I mean, we sounded the best we've ever sounded. I started whipping out my own slide stuff that was just, the guys in the band were going, man, where the hell did you learn how to do that? I'm going, shit, I don't know, you know. It was one of those nights, but it's funny, after all this, when I get down to the end of the night, this is the guitar, which is not original whatsoever, except it is a very cool, I mean, super cool Tele. Like I said, it's got the Texas Tele pickups on it that I put about 10 years ago because the other one just kept breaking wires and didn't sound that great. And this pickup was super microphonic. I couldn't turn an amp up. It would just start feeding back. So these have been great. The plate's been replaced, pots, everything. Been refinished. And now I've got all these priceless signatures on it. But this thing sounded so good last night. I could not believe it. But I want to show you what the MXR sounds like. I'll admit I used to be a Stevie clone of some sort before I knew there were so many of them out there. Now, I'm going through both Supers, a 64 and a 66. But this, if you want to get that old cold shot sound, then I did it last night. That's the only song we play.